know is that she always dreamed of becoming a police officer. By the year of 2019, she's 21 years old and lives in the metro Atlanta area. Hannah's never been in trouble with the law, but everything changes on May 7th of 2019. That day, Hannah is heading home from work when suddenly she witnesses a car accident.
Clayton County 911. What is the location of your emergency? Yes, ma'am. I'm actually on Forest Parkway and Clark Howell Highway. And there was just an accident. I'm sure they've already called, but I just witnessed it, and I just wanted to make sure that I guess called the police as well in case they didn't. All right. Were they on? What were the kind of vehicles involved? It's a red Dodge pickup truck. I think it's a Dakota, and a semi was involved. And the red Dakota ran the red light and slammed into the side of the semi.
Officials say the driver of the red pickup truck is 62-year-old Kenneth Herring. Deputies haven't yet arrived at the scene. When another 911 call comes in, it's Hannah Payne on the line again.
County 911, what's the location of the emergency? Yes, ma'am. I'm on Clark Howell and Forest Parkway, the intersection. I actually called about 20 minutes ago for an accident, and no one has shown up yet. But I am under the impression that the guy that caused the accident, who ran the red light, is drunk, and he's gotten back in his car and looking like he's trying to drive away.
The dispatcher asks Hannah if she can get the license plate number. So Hannah decides to follow Kenneth's truck.
So he is going west, down Clark Howell, down Forest Parkway. So you couldn't get the tag number? No, but I'm catching up to him right now. Okay, Mel, we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. I understand. I understand 100%. I'm just going to get the tag number, if nothing else.
Dispatch asks Hannah to return to where the traffic accident took place, but she doesn't listen. She thinks Kenneth might be driving under the influence.
If you can go back to that location where the incident happened, it's because someone is actually on the way to you guys now. Okay, well, there's a police officer there, but he is drunk. I'm sorry that I'm here to tell you I'm not going to follow him. Because he is going to cause another accident. So I will stay behind him until officers can get to us. But until then, I'm not moving.
Hannah catches up to Kenneth. She blocks his truck in with her Jeep. She's still on the phone with 911 when she decides to confront him.
Ma'am. Ma'am, you were not supposed to follow him. Okay, you got the tag number.
Hannah doesn't reveal to dispatch she's armed with a gun until after the shooting. Kenneth suffers a gunshot wound to the stomach. A deputy with the Clayton County Sheriff's Office, who was en route to where the accident was first reported, arrives shortly after, and he forces her to hand over the gun. Hannah claims she didn't pull the trigger, but eyewitnesses disagree. Can you talk to me? Yeah, my okay. So I'm trying to access it. He's in the car. No, I just he said to get the damn door open. Yeah, we have people to get the door open. Yeah. Kenneth Herring is bleeding out, and the ambulance still hasn't arrived.
So can you talk to me? Can you talk? What's your name? What's your name? Where you get that? You got right here. Right here. You got a towel or something? No, sir. Anybody got a towel anywhere? It's coming out. The bullet in there. Yeah. This is coming from. He's gonna be. Stomach injury. It's a stomach. You got something to press. You got something to press on it. Towel. I don't want to put all this dirtiness on there. It's all bleeding internally. Yeah. You might get an AC on there. I'm sorry, don't do that now. If you don't move your arm, I got his head. Hey, so stay with me, okay?
Paramedics arrived minutes later, and deputies launched their investigation into the shooting.
It's just XD9. It's an XD9 Springfield. It's a 9mm. Who might be in the wreck? Anyways, he came this way, and then she was coming from that way. He hit her. And once he hit her, so she stopped. Yeah, he was just fine. Then every time she reached in, she went back out. Like, on a hand like that. So, like I said, yeah. I guess he hit her. It showed every time. And the last person was her. And by the time she stepped back the 4 times, she put it going out there. 2 shots right here. 2 shots. Yeah. So, some good shots in there.
It's clear there's a lot more to the story. Deputies dig deeper, and a new realization sets in. Kenneth could have been experiencing a medical emergency prior to the initial car crash.
I think the 43 was having some kind of diabetic emergency. Hit this other lady, white lady, and then she jumped out of her car and started harassing him about hitting her, and then she shot him. Yeah. All while we were sitting there. I was doing 84 blocking the ramp for that tractor trailer fire on the interstate. And I heard it. And it happened like 200 feet from where I'm sitting. She said she was at Clark House ready to go home. She said that he ran through the line and hit a truck. She said it was an officer down there with a badge trying to stop, grab him or stop him or something. He drove on off. So she chased him here and cut him off. And she said she was trying to, she said the truck that he was still down there. She said the whole time she was on the phone with dispatch, giving them information and telling them. Dispatch just said that it was 43 down there. But when she got him and stopped him, she told him, "You need to go back." So she was pointing with her left hand, and she said he grabbed her by her left hand and wouldn't let her go. He was cussing, and she said, "I do have my gun, my weapon and stuff like that." He said, "Well, shoot me," that's what she said. And then from that point on, she said he wouldn't let her go, and he was swinging at her and cutting her. She brought a gun and shot. So we're gonna take up the CID once we get through here, and CID already know they want to interview her, and we'll go from there.
Hannah Payne is still on scene. She's detained while EMS attempt to save Kenneth's life. But with every passing minute, any hope of recovery diminishes.
There's a bunch of needles in his car, so I don't know if that's diabetic related, and that's why he hit the cars or what. And medic said he was not looking good.
Kenneth Herring is transported to a local hospital, but his injury is fatal. He's pronounced dead. Meanwhile, across town, Hannah Payne is brought into a Clayton County interrogation room. She's read her Miranda rights, but she wants to tell her side of the story.
I thought work was going and started coming down Clubhouse, driving left on Forest Park exit. There was a semi-six and I ran to the right of me, and he was a little bit further in the intersection than I was, like the light was green for us. And out of nowhere, this guy came down to the intersection, and luckily I stopped barely in time, but he ran into the semi. Y'all are on Park and you're trying to come out on the Forest Parkway. And he came straight through the from Riverdale or from Riverdale Road? Okay, great. And so after I realized what had happened, I was able to go around him, and I pulled up on the sidewalk and I parked. I called the police. I got out and I walked over to see if everyone was okay. I was talking to the truck driver and another witness who was also a police officer who saw everything happen. And the guy who was driving the truck ended up getting out and was kind of like looking around, like, "Well, what happened?" He said, "Someone hit me." And we're like, "No, you just ran a red light."
According to Hannah, when Kenneth got out of his truck, he began stumbling and walked out into the middle of traffic.
After about 20 minutes had gone by, I went back across the street and I was calling my parents. realization that I just got to take a chance at life, that I felt I was scared. I called my parents and I told them what happened. And while I was standing over there, is when I called back, realized it had been over 20 minutes. And I told the dispatch that he was getting in his truck and he was revving the engine. And it looked like he was going to pull away. And at that time, he did. He took off. So I got in my Jeep and I followed him. And I told the dispatch that I was following him. And she told me that she didn't advise it.
Hannah insists she followed Kenneth's truck to get his license plate number.
Right when I got to Riverdale Road. And he came around that curve. And I had an opportunity to get in front of him. So I got in front of him and I stopped in front of him. I got out and I was on the phone with dispatch. I told him, I was like, you need to stop. You need to pull over. And he's like, who are you and who are you? And I'm like, I'm no one, but I'm on the phone with the police. And that's where I was like right there behind him. You know, who are you? Who are you? I got something for you. I'm like, okay. I said, I'm just telling you, you need to stop. And you need to pull over. And that's when I had my phone in my hand and I told him, I was like, you need to stop. And right there by his door at this point, he reaches out and kind of like hit my phone out and grabbed my wrist. He grabbed my wrist. We kind of started going back and forth, fighting. And that's when he punched the gas and he ran into my tire.
Hannah claims Kenneth began to pull on her. That's when she warned him she was armed with a gun.
And I don't know if he's reaching. I wasn't watching him. I was trying to pull away from him. And I had got him off of me and he had my shirt. And that's when he ripped my shirt. He's looking at it. I have it underneath. Okay. Sitting in the bottom.
I just want to see that and go out.
He's pulling at it and pulling at it, and that's when I told him after he reached it, I told him I said, I have a gun. I said, I will shoot you. And that's when I reached for it. And because I hadn't reached for it, I hadn't touched for it the entire time. I reached for it, I pulled it out. And that's when he pulled, when I pulled away from him, is when, because my shirt ripped. It's not that he let go. He had about at that point. He was still coming at me, still yelling at me, I got something for you, you know, you can shoot me and shoot me, do it, do it, do it. And when he grabbed is when I just know. I don't remember trying myself to pull the trigger. It just,
Before investigators can even ask why she confronted Kenneth with a gun, Hannah claims she brought it for her own protection.
I just know. I don't remember trying myself to pull the trigger. It just,
So you how did you have your finger on the trigger?
yeah.
So when you're holding a gun,
Yeah.
you
So
so your hand is inside
like this. I had it like, originally I was holding it like this.
the trigger. Okay.
I didn't have it inside. And he's reaching and turning and twisting. And as he's turning it, he's, you know, pulling it and we're going back and forth. So of course, I bought it for protection. Not that I have any intentions on ever trying to use it, but I was prepared. I was trying to get prepared for whatever I need to be prepared for, thinking I'd be able to pull away and then just go, you know, get away from him. And that's not how it happened. So when he was pulling at me, and that's when my finger, I put it on the trigger, and he's pulling and pulling.
Hannah walks investigators through her story again. Earlier, she said Kenneth tried to grab her. This time, she demonstrates how on one of the detectives.
So hit me on the You're holding like this?
That's what it was, I had it in my right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's right here.
I mean, not
Right. Well, with this hand on his stuff, and he's just like, he went like this, and then he grabbed me, and
you grab which hand?
my right hand. I'm sorry,
You
my left hand.
the phone, not the phone.
Not the phone. But when he did, which honestly, I don't know what hand, how he lunged it first. But when he lunged, it hit my phone. So knocked it out of my hand. And he grabbed it out.
The
And it shattered the screen.
And do you think that he pulled the trigger, or do you think that you pulled the trigger?
What I told them originally was that I felt like he did. Because I did not have my finger. I know about the double safety mechanism, so that's why I specifically did not have my finger on the trigger.
Okay.
Now, when I pulled it back around, after he was, you know, fighting at me and he lunged, he still had his hand on it, and I had my hand pinned on it.
Okay.
But it was more so of a matter of force instead of me saying, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger. So he was phone and he's fighting, and that's when I put my finger on the trigger, and he still has his hand on my hand, so that way both of our hands was in the, I don't know if that was the trigger guard. Yeah, inside. Yeah, okay. And I'm pulling, and nothing's going on.
Hannah says she was acting in self-defense, but investigators have a few more questions for her.
Help me understand the more part about because you sound like you're saying you grabbed three things at one time. The door, your shirt, and the gun. I'm not understanding how you can grab all three at one time. So make that more clear to me.
So the first thing that he grabbed was your hand, with his right hand.
Okay, at this point there's no gun on you.
Well,
Then,
right.
Alright, first thing you grab is your shirt. Where at on your shirt?
No, not my shirt. He grabbed my hand.
Okay, grab your wrist.
Yeah, with his right. He grabbed my left wrist with his right hand. And that's when me and him are fighting, going back and forth, hitting. And that's when he's telling me, he's like, okay, well, I got something for you. He's twisted and turning, and he's leaning back. So then, after that, is when I told him that I had a gun.
Alright, let me go back to where the wrist grabbing. At what point were you inside? Was your arms inside of the vehicle? Or did he have to lean outside the window to grab you?
He had to lean out. Because I was right at the window. So it wasn't.
Were your arms resting on the window when you was talking to him?
No.
What was your hand doing inside the cell phone? What was his hand doing?
So this is the window, and this is inside the car. I'm telling you, you need to stop. Because my hand's right here.
Okay.
I'm on the phone with the police.
And when he was reaching the back, side, front? Where was he reaching at?
I saw his arm go this way.
So it's like towards the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toward almost kind of diagonal.
Okay.
But
I got you. Like kind of.
it could have been to the back. It could have been behind, underneath, the side.
I got you.
It could have been to the gear shift.
Mm-hmm.
We keep saying it now, but he's saying, after I said I have a gun,
Mm-hmm.
he says, oh, and he's saying still, I got something for you, and he reaches.
But the first time you said I got something for you, he just moved the vehicle.
Right.
And there was no reaching for no weapon or anything at that time. He just moved the vehicle. Do you ever see what is in his hand?
I couldn't see his hands from how I was pulled back and the angle that I'm sitting at, and I'm focusing on nothing, truthfully. So, you know what I mean? Like, there was no assuming that there was, assuming that there wasn't. It was just me just trying to make sure that I was prepared for whatever it may be.
From Hannah's point of view, she felt she had to do something. But detectives need to do some more investigating to get to the truth.
That step out, if you're, I know you just think about actually think about something in the future. You pull in front of somebody, you don't know what's going to happen. You put your body in the way of a vehicle. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just not. I understand what you're doing, but I'm just saying that's not your life. Is not worth being run over. He could have run you over. He could have done a lot of different things. So just know that that's never worth putting yourself in that position. I thought that it was a matter of because he whipped that car back around and he spread in the past. He could have run you over. You understand that? So just make sure you think about stuff like that. But I know it's hit the moment, whatever. But let's back up for just a minute.
While Hannah claims she acted in self-defense, Clayton County prosecutors charge her with murder without malice. She's taken to the Clayton County Jail, where she's initially held without bond. She appears in court on May 31st, 2019 for a preliminary hearing. Prosecutors called Clayton County Police Detective Keon Hayward to testify during the hearing. He reveals Kenneth appeared to be leaving the scene of the accident after suffering a medical emergency, diabetic shock. But Hannah's defense attorneys argue she acted in self-defense during the course of a citizen's arrest. Prosecutors argue Georgia law allows for citizen's arrest only if the citizen witnesses a felony. According to Clayton County District Attorney Tracy Graham Lawson, the initial accident where Kenneth allegedly ran into the semi-truck was just considered a misdemeanor traffic offense. After the hearing, Judge William H. West rules there is probable cause for the case to continue. He also sets Hannah's bond at $100,000. If she's released, she will have to wear an ankle monitor, and she cannot possess a firearm even though she has her concealed carry license. Hannah Payne posts bond. Weeks after her release, a grand jury indicts her on charges of felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and possession of a firearm during a felony. After the grand jury indictment, an arrest warrant is signed, meaning Hannah Payne will have to return to the Clayton County Jail. She turns herself in on June 21st, 2019, and she remains in jail for months. On September 27th of 2019, a judge grants Hannah a $320,000 bond. She's released from jail again in October of the same year. She remains out on bond until her trial, which takes place in December of 2023. During opening statements, prosecutors argue Hannah Payne was the aggressor and had no justification for following Kenneth Herring.
On May 7th of 2019, defendant Hannah Payne had the audacity to chase, court, detain, assault, shoot, and kill an unarmed 62-year-old Kenneth Herring who was sitting in his own car. All because she didn't like his driving. She didn't like how he acted. Then she tells the 911 operator, he pulled the trigger on my gun and shot himself. That's the level of audacity you're going to hear. Trying to claim this man shoot himself. We believe that the evidence will show witnesses, video, photographs.
During their opening, the defense argues Hannah was following instructions. The 911 dispatcher told her to get a license plate number.
But she's young. She sits there and listens to it. She believes that people still have good in them. And she comes out with the phone. Hey, I got the police on the phone. You need to go back. You need to go back. You only hear that engine rev up and try to run. And you hear this engine in the 911, you hear the short.
Prosecutors call several people to testify, including witnesses of the initial accident involving Kenneth Herring allegedly colliding with a semi-truck.
Did you witness the entire incident that occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you tell us what happened during that vehicle collision on Clark Howell and Forest Parkway?
As we were approaching the light was green. Vehicles were turning to the left, and the truck I know was turning right. All of a sudden, I seen this marine vehicle come, bam, hit the side of the truck. It lifted up, came to a stop. When I was approaching, coming down, I saw the marine vehicle, and I saw the gentleman kind of slumped over a little bit. That's what made me pull over to see if he was okay. And when I got the car, that's when I asked the gentleman, is he okay? And then the truck driver came up next, and then we just basically make sure the gentleman's okay. That's when I called 911.
Could you see if she had anything in her hands?
At the time, no, I did not.
What else happens next?
I ended up pulling out my phone to record. Honestly, I hate to say it like this, but it was like another day in Clayton County. And as I was recording, I heard a gunshot.
Now, did you see any sort of struggle between the driver of the car that she's standing at and Miss Payne?
Yes.
Okay, describe what you saw.
It just looked like a little pushing back and forth.
When you recorded what was on your phone, were you able to then view that recording?
Yes. I actually sent it to an officer on the site that same day.
Law and Crime has obtained that cell phone video taken by Cameron Williams. In the video, Cameron is driving right past Hannah Payne as she confronts Kenneth Herring at his driver's side window.
Oh my God.
According to testimony from the medical examiner, Kenneth Herring's death was caused by the gunshot wound he sustained to the stomach.
The cause of death in this case is a gunshot wound.
The prosecution rests their case. Once it turns over to the defense, Hannah decides she will testify.
So I'm explaining to the dispatch what happened. And as he's pulling off, she's asking me, was I able to get the tag number? Realizing I wasn't able to, I was already at my vehicle. And I completely got in my vehicle and went to go pull off.
Okay.
And at that time, the truck driver and the state officer was still standing over in the street. And he started waving me over, like calling me towards him.
And when you got it close to him, what happened?
I asked him, did he go straight? And he said, yes. And he's telling me, he said, go.
So at that time, you were under the impression that he's a state officer sending you to get the tag, and 911 knows that you're on the way to get the tag.
Correct. And he was, when I was in my vehicle, when he was waving me over, his motions were, it's almost like he was waving me on. So when he brought me up, when I got up to him, is when he told me to go.
And he said, go. Did you say something else? Or?
No, he just said, good, go, go. I was explaining to her as we were going down the road, I'm explaining to her what's happening. And from how I remembered it, she asked me again, so were you able to get it? And I explained to her, not yet, but I am about to. And that's when she told me that she just wanted me to be safe. I told her that I understood, and that I wasn't chasing. I was just going to follow, to stay behind him, to stay with him until the police officer could get to us. So I was able to kind of accurately, basically just keep them in the loop since they obviously weren't there yet.
Hannah testifies that the reason she followed Kenneth in the first place was to tell him to return to the scene of the initial accident. Her testimony is similar to her police interrogation, except for one critical detail.
How did he have the wrist? Like this?
This hand was here, yes.
Okay. And the gum said pulling you forward.
Yes.
And he said he had you here.
But he was closer.
So he had your shoulder with his hand, and what was his hand?
That he let go.
Let go.
Once he got a hold of this version.
So he came.
And he grabbed the gun.
Grabbed the gun like this.
Correct.
Okay. And where was your finger?
The same way that I have it now.
And he grabbed like this. That shows his fingers right there over the trigger.
Correct.
Is that correct?
I mean,
So it's possible any of those 4 digits got you to that trigger.
correct.
What happens next?
He's pulling at it, and I'm just yelling at him to stop, thinking that if I could just get away, it'll just be over, I guess.
Were you saying anything to him at this time?
To stop.
Were you saying it loudly?
Yeah, over and over again. Yeah, I was screaming it.
And then what?
As he's turning it towards, like that way, I'm being pulled, and I can feel myself like pressing up against the car. Like my face is up against the door. And as he's pulling it is when it went off.
And you saw the pictures that showed your hand kind of pulled back. Why would your hand or arm been pulled back like that?
After it went off, my entire body kind of fell backwards. Like I was almost like I was falling over, and I was trying to catch my balance. And my arm was turned so far in that once it went off and I was released, it just kind of sprung back.
When Hannah is questioned by her attorney under direct, she insists her finger was not on the trigger. During cross-examination, the prosecution is quick to point out that's not what she said during her interrogation.
And you also stated that you never had any intention of pulling the trigger.
Correct.
So when you told Mr. Herring that you would shoot him, you were just bluffing?
No, it's not. I wasn't bluffing. I was, as I explained, thinking it was a deterrent, like I would be able to get away.
And you said you had training with this firearm?
Yes.
And in that training, you didn't learn that you don't pull a gun unless you're going to use it?
I learned that you don't put your finger on the trigger unless you're going to use it.
And it was your testimony today in that interview that your finger was on the trigger, correct?
My finger was on the trigger guard, not in the trigger.
Hannah's trial only lasts 5 days. Now it's time for both the prosecution and defense to deliver their final arguments to the jury.
We believe, and we believe we submitted to you, that the defendant acted with malice. When she chased Mr. Herring's vehicle in her Jeep, she cut off Mr. Herring's vehicle with her Jeep on Riverdale Road, cornering him in, blocking his ability to move, detaining him. When she jumped out of her Jeep in an aggressive manner, immediately runs up to Mr. Herring's driver's side door, screaming, cursing, and demanding him to get out the car. She tells Mr. Herring that she will shoot him. She draws her firearm from her waist. She wraps the fly with 2 hands and she shoots it. And you heard on the 911 call, you heard her say, "You hit my car." And she says that right before she shoots.
Trigger went off. They're sitting there, scared out of mind. They've been in this situation before. He was like, I got something for you. What do you mean? Hit the trigger. Shoot. He pulled the trigger. You heard it. Listen. And they didn't see that was his woman. Basically, we come down the drop. I said, honest, seek the truth of what.
The jury deliberates on the case for 90 minutes. Then they announce a verdict.
With regard to count 1 as to the offense of malice murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 2 as to the offense of felony murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
Hannah Payne's sentencing takes place 3 days after the verdict is handed down. During her sentencing hearing, Kenneth Herring's siblings gave heartbreaking victim impact statements.
No more Christmas. No more birthdays. No more family gatherings. His grandchildren won't know him. He has 2 adult children. They don't have a father anymore. I'll never see my brother again, only through pictures. The same sentence that she gave him, I would like to see the same sentence given to her.
At some point in my life, I'm going to need some healing. My opinion as far as judgment in this, I feel that whatever the court gives her, which should be life without parole, she deserves more.
The prosecution also urges the judge to sentence Hannah to life in prison without parole. However, the defense argues for leniency given Hannah's young age, but it's the judge who makes the final decision.
With respect to count 1, malice murder, the court will impose a sentence of life with a possibility of parole. With respect to count 2, felony murder, that will merge into count 1 and is dismissed as a matter of law. With respect to count 3, aggravated assault, that merges into counts 1 and 2. With respect to count 4, felony murder, that merges into count 1 and it is dismissed as a matter of law. With respect to count 5, the false imprisonment verdict, the court imposes a sentence of 8 years consecutive. With respect to count 6, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, the court imposes a sentence of 5 years that will run consecutive to the underlying sentence. Count 7 and 8 will merge into count 6. So the court's total sentence is life with the possibility of parole plus 8 years consecutive on false imprisonment and 5 years consecutive on the possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. And that is the court's sentence.
Hannah Payne is remanded to the Georgia Department of Corrections. Her attorneys file a motion for a new trial. Initially, a lower court denies it, but in March of 2026, her appeal is taken to the Georgia Supreme Court, where justices hear oral arguments about Hannah Payne's appeal. That's when it's revealed that a prosecutor with the Clayton County District Attorney's Office used non-existent AI citations, which made its way into the court order. Because of that major blunder, the Georgia Supreme Court has no choice but to vacate the denial of Hannah's request for a new trial, meaning a lower court has to reconsider its decision on denying Hannah Payne a new trial. As of this recording, no decision has been made as far as a new trial, and Hannah Payne remains in the Pulaski State Prison in Hawkinsville, Georgia. Thanks for joining us on this episode. I'm Elizabeth Milner, and we'll see you back here next week with another female criminal.